Hi there, this is Mushtaba Ahmed and you are watching my O levels biology lecture series, and the syllabus code for this syllabus is 5090. And today we are going to start off with the topic of organization, really cellular organization, and it's closely linked to our previous lecture that was about cells, their structures and their functions as well. So really today we are going to start off with our fourth lecture, and it talks about hierarchy in humans, biological hierarchy precisely we're talking about, and we will see close up please. So what would that mean? That's really about some sort of that's really has to do something with magnification. In science and in biology we are able to see specimens up close, and we are really able to see them in close up by the virtue of magnification, and that's carried by the presence of microscope, light microscopes, electron microscopes as well. But really that part, in that part we'd be talking and seeing how we are responsible for using a formula for magnification, and how we can calculate magnification or image size or an actual size of a specimen or an object that's given in the question or that we are asked to. Before we start off with the topic, I'd like you guys to take a look at this interesting clip art or image that I really got from internet, and that says hierarchy of needs. So at the top of the pyramid it mentions self-actualization, then self-esteem, love or belonging, shows by the cute little family, small family there, and safety, then physiological, that really deals with the food, water, shelter and other bodily needs. And then what was the most interesting part was that now Wi-Fi has also become a need. So Wi-Fi, and then obviously battery, mobile phones or your laptops. So really this diagram illustrates that these are the sorts of things that are arranged in a hierarchy, and battery, Wi-Fi, these two being the most common ones, and then physiological, obviously physiological needs are also to be satisfied, and safety is one thing that an individual needs, and then love or belonging from family and friends. Self-esteem is something that when you realize that you have really achieved something and you really are something. Self-actualization is even better or even above this self-esteem thing, and it's self-actualization there where you realize your total or your true importance, and that how you can be a responsible one, a responsible individual for the society, for your family as well. So really this picture illustrates the things that the basic things, these are the basic things that are required for an individual to be in a society, in today's society, precisely. And this diagram or the pyramid arranges these needs in an hierarchical fashion. That's really interesting to note. And then we see that so today we are going to really take a look at the hierarchy in biological systems, in cells. So really our living body, our living systems, all living systems, our bodies also have arrangements, have particular orders of working, and there is also exists hierarchy in living systems that we'll be taking a look at today in our lecture. So we would now discuss the learning outcomes of this part of the video, and we would take a look at this part, that the cells can become specialized and that their structures are related to their specific functions. So really guys, this is an important bit of information, an important point that needs to be understood and learned in a proper manner, as illustrated by examples covered in the syllabus. So really this part of the learning outcome you would understand in much better fashion or in much better mode after going through the advanced topics or advanced chapters as we proceed in this syllabus. but even then I'll demonstrate the ideas through various different concepts as well. So the next point talks about the understanding of the terms cell, the tissue, organ system and organisms as illustrated by examples covered in the syllabus. Again, this is the part that you will see throughout your syllabus as well. Then there is state and use formula magnification. That's the bit I was talking about early on, the close up thing. So image size over actual size is the formula for the magnification, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And but really these questions from this part often come in your practical exam as well. So really we would be going through these 3 points and discussing those today. Significance. So really I thought that I would talk a little bit about the significance of this part of the syllabus, because remember I'm a firm believer that it always makes much sense when the candidate or when the students understand the practical significance of a thing or of a topic that's been taught or that's been discussed. So the cells in complex multicellular organisms such as humans, like people, are organized into tissues which are nothing but groups of similar cells that work together on a specific task. So really tissues are groups of similar cells that are performing a particular task in a human body. So this is the thing that you need to understand, and we will be discussing this throughout this lecture video, that cells become specialized into tissues, and then tissues are specialized to give rise to organs. So we see that organs are structures made up of 2 or more tissues organized to carry out a particular function. This is important bit, and groups of organs with related functions make up different organ systems. So 4 things we have come across now in hierarchy of biological system: cells, the second one is the tissues, third being organs, and this gives rise to organ systems, and then eventually a complete organism. The body has levels of organization that build on each other. So really these are the basic levels of organization. So first one is the basic structure of a living being, that cell that we discussed also in our previous lecture. Then the cells specialize or group into forming tissues. Then tissues, 2 or more tissues specialize or group together to give rise to a complete organ such as a heart, lung, kidney, and then organs, they work in unison and together to give rise to organ systems, which is really a quite complex structure in its own terms. And then organ systems are what compose a complete organism. So at each level of organization, cells, tissues, organs and organ systems structure is closely related to function. It's important that you appreciate that the fact that at each level of organization, so cells of similar sorts would group together to give rise to tissues. Tissues of similar sort or similar functioning would give rise to different organs, specialized organs that would be performing rather complex task altogether, and these organs work together in unison, as I said, to give rise to organ systems. So it's important that you realize or appreciate the fact that the structures, these subcellular structures relate to each other, and they are really closely related to their functioning. For instance, the cells in the small intestine that absorb nutrients look very different from the muscle cells needed for the body movement. The structure of heart reflects its job of pumping blood throughout the body, while the structure of lungs maximizes the efficiency with which they can take up oxygen and release carbon dioxide. It's highly important that you realize the thing that's been discussed in this paragraph, and that's the thing that I'm stressing upon, and it is that the structures, the subcellular structures, the cells, the simple structure of a living organism, the cells, then tissues and organs and organ systems work in unison by the fact that they are closely linked to each other, and they are closely related to performing a particular function at one time. And evolutionarily that's also occurred, that also happened, that the structure is closely and really related to its function. So if we take the example of our hand and limbs, they are perfectly adapted for locomotion, for movement, for performing functions such as handling things, handling doorknob. Our hand is perfectly designed to do that, and our limbs are adapted to running because of the presence of these structures, and they relate to the functioning of the body. So it's important that you realize and appreciate the fact that the structures are closely related to the functioning, and it talks about the functioning of heart, and then lungs. We will also take a look at these two organs in detail in our coming lectures as well, because that's the part of your syllabus, transport in humans, and transport and the respiration part. That would there we will also discuss the exchange of gases and see the structure of lungs. So levels of organization. This is a picture that demonstrates the example an example of how a muscle cell, they combine together to give rise to muscle tissues, and different tissues then join together to give rise to this organ, which is bladder, which is a part of a urinary system. And then organ system, this is all really urinary system that's composed of kidney, ureter, bladder, urethra, each of each different organ performing its own task and own function, and completely forming the basis of the urinary system. So these all organs work in unison and in accordance to each other, and maintain coordination and maintain balance throughout the body of a living organism. So it's really important that you see that a simple cell, how it combines, how it gets together to give rise to a muscle tissue. A muscle tissue gives rise to a bladder, an organ, which is an organ, and then organ system that is composed of these different organs. Now we would be discussing further about the tissues. So I'd like to tell you that humans, like other animals, are large multicellular animals, and they are composed of mainly 4 basic tissue types, which the first one is epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. So for example, a muscle tissue is essential for keeping the body upright, allowing it to move, and even pumping blood through and pushing food through the digestive tract. So really these tissues are present in our digestive system as well. They are also a part of heart, which is the organ that's responsible for pumping blood throughout the body. So the point that's been made in this paragraph, or in this bullet point, is that a large multicellular organism does require some sort of hierarchy or organization for it to carry out various sorts of functions which are required by it in proper manner and in proper fashion. And then we see that organs are such as heart, I talked about, the lungs, the stomach, the kidneys, the skin, and the liver are made up of 2 or more types of tissue organized to serve a particular function. That's the important bit. And then for example, the heart pumps. This is really the repetition of what we already saw. This talks a little bit about that in detail. So you really need to understand in a holistic rather manner to that simple cells, they join together, which are really closely linked together to give rise to tissues. Then tissues of 2 or more types give rise to organs, and then the story continues on to giving rise to organ systems that we'll see now. Organ system. So before that, I'd like to talk about the organization again. This diagram illustrates the organization. So atoms, this is really really not required by the for your syllabus, but really it adds to the information. Molecules, atoms gives rise to molecules. Molecules form cells, then tissues, for example an epithelium tissue, Then epithelium tissue is lining within the stomach, that's the organ, and then organ system is digestive system, which gives rise to a complete organism that we also talked about. Organs are grouped into organ systems in which they work together to carry out a particular function. Again and again I am stressing that they carry out a particular function. So, a particular organ system, digestive system, would carry out the procedure of digesting the food. The urinary system is dealing with the excretion and with the urinary system of the body. And then that there is an example again of heart and the blood vessels that make up the cardiovascular system. So, they work together to circulate the blood, bringing oxygen and nutrients to the cell around throughout the body and carrying away a carbon dioxide and its metabolic wastes. Another example is the respiratory system, which brings oxygen into the body and gets rid of carbon dioxide. It includes nose, mouth, pharynx, larynx, trachea and lungs. So, really you see this topic talks really much about and is completely packed with examples, because I believe that by giving examples to this sort of topic it would make a better understanding, and these are the topics that we are going to see in detail as well in the coming lessons. So, that's very important, and most probably the questions would also be dealing with some sort of examples as well. Example as a whole that relate to these topics would make better sense, would enable better understanding of this topic as well. So, that is why we are repeatedly seeing examples. Now, we see the thing that I talked about, the close up thing. So, magnification. So, you are really responsible for this formula for calculating the magnification of the given specimens. So, the specimen or the questions would somewhat look like this, where you will be given a question, a specimen or a cell diagram that would be drawn, and then you would be given a scale. So, really this does not mention scale would be something like this. They would give you on the question paper 40 micrometers or 30 micrometers. So, this is really just an example. Ignore my drawings, my writing, it's really difficult. Micrometer, so it's micrometer guys, and just assume that it's 40 micrometer. So somewhat it would look like somewhat this, and they won't be giving magnification most probably, and in some cases they might give you magnification. So, the idea is that one of these things you would be asked to calculate. Size of the image is really the image that you see on your paper, on your exam, or on your paper. The size or you see the size of the specimen that you would calculate, that you would find out, is the size of the image. And then the actual size of the object would be this, that would be given like in scale form, and the magnification would be most probably that you would be asked to calculate. And magnification would be, remember, its units are in x thousand or x hundred or x 10,000. So, it's important that you know the magnifications units as well. Measure the scale bar image beside drawing in millimeter. So, this is a drawing that you are given. This shows a specimen of a plant cell because of the presence of cell wall, and then cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. You would put your scale with this specimen alongside this, and horizontally you would measure the distance between the two corners, and it turns out to be 40 millimeter. This would be the size of image. Then convert to micrometers, because most of the times the scale is given in micrometers. So, it's really important that you convert the units, and that you can do by multiplying the millimeters by 1000. Why it's not moving? Then you would see magnification formula. Then you will apply this formula, which is the scale bar image divided by the actual scale bar length written on the scale bar, and then write the magnification as 100 or 1000. Make sure to convert units, it's really important. One thing that mostly confuses students is what the differentiation between actual size of object and size of image. So size of the image is what you would calculate by the scale, by using or by the application of this ruler. Actual size of object would be given to you most probably in micrometers, and it would be the scale length, scale bar length, and the magnification is always written in x 1000 or x 100, and that you can see according to your question. So guys, we have come to the end of this topic, and these are the sources that I utilized for preparing this lecture. So guys, really I just quickly go through what we learned today, and we learned about the different levels of organization. We saw that cells are the basic foundational units of organization that form a living organism. So really, and then different sorts of cells that are similar in nature in performing their function, they group together and they give rise to a really complex structure which is called a tissue. Tissue is a combination of cells that are combined together to perform a function. Then two or more sorts of tissues, the layers, they combine together to give rise to an organ, and organs, different sorts of organs combine together or work in unison to perform or to give rise to an organ system, and then organ system gives rise to a complete organism. And we are really composed of different sorts of organ systems: digestive organ system, urinary system, cardiovascular system, muscular system, and all these we would also really talk about them in our coming lectures as well, and that would really make these concepts much clearer as well. And you would see that past paper questions pop out from these topics in random manner in somewhat, or they are interlinked with these topics, with these advanced topics that I'm talking about as well. So we would also revisit them in our coming chapters, such as transport in humans, muscular system, I guess, and then we'll see the respiration part as well, where we will talk about the alveoli, the breathing systems, and the structures that as well.